Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
And today we are doing our Heist character draft.
3, 2, 1,
action.
All right, Andrew, you said it. We're doing a character draft. We're drafting a 5-person team, and the goal of this team is to be able to complete a heist of any manner, right? So it could be a bank, it could be breaking into a very secure facility, but we have to assemble 5 teammates that are going to help us get this job done. Now, we can't have any superheroes.
Yep, so we're not drafting anybody from any superhero movies or comics. We're picking from live action movies, from grounded, realistic, somewhat realistic characters.
Yep.
As realistic as action stars can
plausible.
be. Yes. There's not going to be any magic, any superhuman abilities, any futuristic abilities, anything like that. Picking for a modern heist.
Yes. Now, we've done a draft before. I believe it was episode 5 where we did a fight scene draft and we had a guest on. For this one, it's just me and you. We're going to flip a coin to see who goes first, and I forgot to grab a coin. So, do you have a coin?
I don't have a coin on me.
All right, hold it right there, everyone. Don't move.
If you're still listening, we would love it if you would like, follow, subscribe, rate, and share the show. Share us with all your friends. Write a review, whether good or bad. It helps us know how we can improve, and it helps us know if you love the show, and we keep doing what we're doing.
All right, I'm back. I have this $50 coin, so it's a big coin. You can see it from way over there. We got heads and tails. So, Andrew, I'm going to flip it. You're going to call it in the air. If it lands on what you called, you get to go first. And we're going to go back and forth until we have our 5. After we have our 5, we're going to talk about why we picked who we picked and the different characteristics that make up our team and our reasonings behind it.
Yeah, and our honorable mentions.
That's right. I have a few of those as well. All right. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Call it in the air.
Tails never fails.
Drum roll, please. It's heads.
You forgot to flip it.
No, I did. I flipped it. It's on video too, so you can watch it back. I flipped it.
All right.
But it's heads if you want to see.
No, I trust you.
See?
Oh, it was heads.
Yeah, give it back. It's 50 cents. All right. So we're going to kind of go back and forth here. Starting with my first pick, I'm going to pick Will from Good Will Hunting, played by Matt Damon.
Really?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. That's a surprising pick. My first pick, I'm going with Baby from Baby Driver as my driver. Ansel Elgort as Baby.
I knew you were going to pick that one. I'm going to pick Jess from Focus, played by Margot Robbie.
Oh, okay. I'm going to pick Ethan Hunt. So Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible franchise.
I did have that one on my list, but I changed it. So I have him as my honorable mentions. All right, so I'm going to pick Lefty Ortiz from Fast and Furious. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Played by Michelle Rodriguez.
Good pick. I'm going to go with Riley Poole, the guy in the chair. He's my tech guy from National Treasure, played by Justin Bartha.
Ooh, I like that one. That one's good. I'm going to end my team of 5 with Robert McCall, Equalizer, Denzel Washington.
Isn't that only your 4th?
You're right. I skipped one.
That's a good pick, though.
Yeah, that's my pick.
All right,
I have one more. You're right.
I'm going to pick Parker from the TV show Leverage, played by Beth Riesgrief, as my thief.
Okay, very nice. I'm going to pick Dalton Russell from Inside Man, played by Clive Owen.
Good pick. And my final pick, I'm going to pick Arthur from the movie Inception as being played by JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Nice. All right, so that that does it. That's our teams. We didn't have any of the same picks. I did have Ethan Hunt on my list, but I did change him out before we started.
I got my full starting 5.
Yeah. So did I. So I'm going to go ahead and recap who I have and what role they're going to be in, and then you'll do the same.
Gotcha.
And we didn't specify what roles we needed. We just kind of picked these on our own. I'm interested to see how our criteria kind of varies. Seems like we're pretty close though. But my leader is going to be Will from Good Will Hunting, because he's a genius and he doesn't have a record of stealing things, so he can fly under the radar and he won't have any heat associated with him. My thief is Jess from Focus, trained by Will Smith. Can't get much better than that. My guy with experience, who brings everyone together and kind of keeps the show running, is Dalton from Inside Man. He ended up robbing that bank, got away with it, so he's got no heat. He's got massive experience that he can bring to the table. Have you ever seen that movie?
A long time ago. I don't remember it well, but he's a really smart guy. It's a good smart character pick.
It's one of my favorite movies. It's great. Lefty, I don't have to explain why. She's my driver. She's also a badass. She can knock some people out if we need it to happen. And then Robert, the equalizer, he is my muscle weapons specialist, just in case if things go a little haywire, or if what we're robbing has to do with weapons and stuff, he can make sure that we're all informed and ready to go and can make the best decisions of how to get through the heist safely. So that is my lineup. Andrew, take us through your team and their roles.
All right. So I literally went based off the show Leverage, and I don't know how popular this show is, but I used to like it when I caught it on TV. The show's based on a team of 5: hacker, hitter, thief, grifter, and mastermind. I subbed out the grifter for a driver because I thought I needed a driver more, and I was not going to pick a team without Baby. But my team was Baby from Baby Driver. He's my driver, obviously. He's smooth behind the wheel. He's drives like a monster. He's crazy. I love him. I got Tom Cruise as my hitter. I trust Ethan Hunt. I trust Ethan Hunt's morals. I trust him as a leader. I trust him, in all kinds of situations. The man can drive, shoot. He can think on his feet. He can run a con. He could be my grifter too if I need him to.
Yep. He's got experience.
Yeah. I thought that's one that you might take.
So he was my leader. I literally changed him probably 5 minutes before we started this podcast. And I'll tell you why after you're done with your...
Yeah, we'll talk more about it. Riley Poole, I just love him so much. He's so funny. He's such a great presence to have on a team. We know he works well in a group. He's my tech guy. He's going to be able to hack into cameras. He's going to be able to do all that stuff, and he's just awesome. Parker from Leverage, she's a total badass. She's like the best thief around. If you need like a pickpocket, if you need somebody crawling through the vents, doing stealth missions, she's perfect for the job. We also know she's great on a team. And then my last pick, Arthur from Inception, have him as my mastermind. Super smart, super neat, organized, super intelligent. He can plan out the heist beginning to end, go through blueprints, all that kind of work is done, and you don't have to worry about it. He's kind of my mastermind / leader.
Nice. I like it. When I was going through and picking my team, I wanted to try not to pick obvious picks. I wanted to try to be a little creative with it and maybe pick people that are outside of their genre of movie.
You got Will for that.
That's why I went with Will as the mastermind. I think he could bring some unique perspective and kind of bring the team together in a different way. And then, like I already mentioned, he doesn't have any heat on him from previous missions and stuff. So figured that's important to build a team that isn't going to draw attention. Some of these guys will draw attention, but some you can't get away with all of that, So, but yeah, I did have Ethan Hunt as the leader, but I ended up switching him because I thought he was kind of a shoo-in, almost an easy pick. So I wanted to be different in that
Sometimes
sense.
an easy pick is an easy pick for a reason, baby.
Yeah, no, I like that pick. He can obviously do it all. I was thinking too, like, oh, he would be a great backup driver in case if anything happens to the driver.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to have people on your team that can do more than one thing, I think. And then, of course, he can drive more than just cars. He can fly helicopters and planes and all this other stuff. Can I just pick Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise, the person. I was talking with my wife last night going over my team, and I was like, I just want Tom Cruise. Like, he can
the action star.
Yeah. But yeah, and I tried to pick a diverse team too. Got 2 women on the team. Jess from Focus, I figured she'd be good because she's good with like the sleight of hand and the misdirection and stuff. And then also she's very sexy and hot and can distract people with her charm and good looks. So I thought that was a valuable asset. And then Lefty Ortiz, kind of the same thing. But she's also a physical force that maybe people would underestimate. So yeah, that's Parker, my thoughts for my team.
Parker kind of has that element as well, but it's not like her first go-to. She's definitely more of a tomboy in that series.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's something she could pull out of her tool bag, and I think there's episodes of the show where they touch on that. But yeah, she has like so many other cool talents as well, just like as a diverse, like as a fighter, her like stealth capabilities and her ability to just literally break in and break out of anywhere. I wanted Parker because I feel like she can't be caught. Like she will get away no matter what. She's just too slippery. But for my overall team, what I was looking at when I wanted to pick my heist team was I wanted a team that was like, in the Mission Impossible movies, they describe Ethan as a scalpel. In Fallout, they say, you have a hammer, I have a scalpel, referring to Ethan. Because I want a team that can get in and get out, whether it's, whatever goes wrong, I want them, to get in and get out smoothly, no casualties. Nobody needs to be hurt in this heist. They make out with the money. They're not too greedy. And I wanted a team that was like moral and efficient. I could have picked heavy hitters like a Dwayne Johnson character. I have, that further down my list, I have some Dwayne Johnson characters, but I don't want somebody like to go through a wall. I want a scalpel. Right. So that's what I see this team as, is like, Baby doesn't want to hurt people. Nobody on my team wants to hurt people. I think if any of them, Arthur from Inception is the person who would do it the soonest if he had to. But everyone on my team has a good moral compass. They would be in and out just about the money, just about the prize. And that's a big part of why I want Ethan Hunt too, because I think Ethan Hunt is about getting in undetected, doing the job the way he sees it is like the right way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for as well. But I thought that I would need someone to be there just in case if something goes down. You know?
Somebody who's willing to do that if they have to.
Right.
Which I think for my team too, Ethan Hunt and Arthur are both people willing to go there if they have to, even if the other characters would probably want to stop them.
Yeah.
I think that the other big part about my team is I wanted people with team experience. So I picked all from people who have experience working and people with heist experience too, because I looked predominantly at heist movies. I mean, Inception, while sci-fi and he's not going to have the element of Inception, Arthur has experience with a mind heist, with pulling a con or stealing like information from someone's mind. So these are all people who have experience on teams with heists. Literally every one of them has pulled a heist and done these things with a team. So I wanted people who could work well with others. Like my backup to Ethan Hunt was James Bond, Daniel Craig, but I know he has like some team experience, like working with Moneypenny and Q, but I wanted people with like really good team experience.
That's interesting that you went that way, that you went with people who have already completed heists and stuff, because that wasn't necessarily my criteria, obviously, with Will as kind of the leader and the brains of the operation. I think the brains would be a better title than maybe leader necessarily, but he's kind of the one that I want to drive the plan from. But I was thinking of people who are kind of coming from different walks of life to bring them together to create like an ultimate team, and like sometimes that doesn't work, right? Like if people are coming from all these different areas and meshing together. But I think in this instance it would, because they don't have to be best friends and all. I don't need them all to be able to do the same thing or have experience doing the same thing. I want them to have experience doing different things.
Yeah.
And then I want them to execute their role the best that they can, better than anyone else can.
Yeah.
You know, so that was kind of my thoughts going through it. And then again, I didn't want a ton of people with a lot of heat. And if they do have a lot of heat, then they'll be in like the discrete parts of the missions, you know, and that way the people that maybe don't have as much heat from cops and law enforcement and stuff, they can be out in the open and kind of fly under the radar in that sense.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. Good Will Hunting is my top 10 movies of all time. I love Will, but I think he's kind of your most controversial pick because I feel like genius in mathematics doesn't necessarily translate to strategic genius or like heist genius. Like, do you want to defend that a little bit? I know he's got like a kind of a rugged backstory and he's kind of been involved, you know, in some fights or maybe I think they read his rap sheet, Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that's on there in the movie. But do you want to defend him a little bit as a pick?
I think he's just smart, and I think that's a valuable part of the team. And like I said, I don't want people that have done this all before. I want people from different walks of life. And then also, Good Will Hunting was supposed to originally be an action movie. So somewhere deep inside of Will, he's got that fighting spirit, you know, like he's throwing punches, shooting guns and stuff, just like the rest of them deep down inside.
It is his character origin, I guess, like where they birthed the character from. That's a good point. Yeah. And speaking of Matt Damon, I have Ben Affleck on my honorable mentions list literally 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, 3 different characters.
All right, let's hear it.
I'll say the Ben Affleck ones. The 3 Ben Affleck characters I have are Doug McRae from The Town. Have you seen that movie?
I have.
I think I liked him as a moral compass leader too, because I know he didn't want to kill in that movie either. Also, ultimately, even though the heist fails at the end of that movie, which I felt like would have been a good argument against him, he's the only one to get out unscathed. And he does get away from the FBI in the end of that movie. Spoiler alert for The Town, coming in way late. And then I also have him on as his character Tom Redfly in Triple Frontier. Which I think the argument against him that I didn't put him higher is because he's too greedy in that movie and ultimately like kind of causes their plans to fail with his greed. So that's why I didn't want to pick him, but they all respect him insanely as a leader. And then the other role I have is Christian from The Accountant, which is a movie that I love. But again, in that movie, he's not shown to really work as part of a team. And I think he's so efficient and effective that like these other teammates would kind of just slow him down. So he's like a one-man army. That's why I wouldn't pick him for a team.
Yeah. Who else do you got on your honorable mentions?
So I didn't pick Hit Girl from the movie Kick-Ass because I think she's just too murderous. I didn't want somebody killing everybody at the drop of a hat on my team. I didn't pick Furiosa from Mad Max because I didn't think she was too team-oriented. In that movie, I mean, she is a badass for sure, but I didn't pick Leo from Catch Me If You Can, even though I considered him as a mastermind for being super smart, because I think in that movie, I know it's based on real life events, but I think in that main arc of that movie, he's too young and immature for my team, even though he's super smart and a brilliant criminal mastermind. I have John Hartley from Red Notice, Dwayne Johnson's character, as one of my backups, just because not only is he a huge physical force, but also super, super smart. I think he just got kind of edged out by some of the other characters on my list, but I think he would have been an awesome mastermind or hitter. He's shown to get out of all kinds of situations, and you know, the physical size and strength plus like the intelligence of that character, and the exact same facts for Henry Cavill's role in the movie Man from U.N.C.L.E. He plays a character named Solo in that movie, just a huge hulking force and super smart, James Bond-like intelligence. We already talked about how James Bond didn't make my list because I wanted Ethan Hunt instead. I have Dave Franco's character from Now You See Me, Jack Wilder. I think he would have been a great versatile character who can pickpocket. He's a great thief. He can drive. He's a hitter. He would have been awesome, you know, like he has these magician elements where he's like got the sleight of hand and intelligence, but he's also just like he has like that, he shows that mimicry against Mark Ruffalo's character where he copies his voice. He's got like all these hidden talents and he can fight. He's super slick. He's got parkour skills. And then my last honorable mention will go to Alan Rickman. His role as Hans Gruber in Die Hard would have been my mastermind because it's brilliant. Nice. What about yourself? What are Aaron's honorable mentions?
I'm just going to go in the order that they're on my list, not necessarily the order that I would pick them in. So I got Henley Reeves from Now You See Me. So kind of
another
same as you. I wanted to try to get another female on the list, so she was kind of like my backup female. Kind of picked her for the same reasons that you did. You know, got the sleight of hand, a little bit of magician kind of tricks and misdirection and stuff.
She's also got the appeal that you mentioned earlier.
Exactly, yeah. So she's got a lot going for her. And then I have John Wick, but I thought he was just a little too brutal for the team because I don't necessarily want to kill anyone with this heist, you know. And he also went and killed everyone because his dog died, which is, I don't know. I mean, that's sad, but maybe not reason to murder everyone.
I think you choosing Denzel in The Equalizer, I think he's a little bit less inclined to kill, maybe.
Yes. So. And then I got Jason Bourne because he got to. I think I didn't pick him because he does have a lot of heat on him, and he's got a lot of trauma that he's dealing with that I need him to focus.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he'd be ready for this task necessarily. Let's see, I got Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11, 12, 13.
Good mastermind.
He would obviously be the leader. He's done it before, but he's also gone to jail for the same thing. So I figured that would be too on the nose. If he's seen anywhere, people would be suspicious and maybe would shut down our heist before it even got started. I have Charlie Croker from Italian Job, played by Mark Wahlberg. Again, good mastermind, muscle, can drive well. I thought he was like a good overall kind of character to add to the team. But I didn't think he necessarily at least from my memory, I haven't seen the movie in a little while, but he didn't stick out into being like a specialist in anything in my eyes. So I was looking for someone a little more specialized.
Yeah.
And then I have Ethan Hunt, which again, I did have him as my mastermind and leader 5 minutes before, but I wanted to switch it to be a little different. And I have a little surprise for you, a little twist for you, if you will. So I was saying that I wanted to pick characters that maybe weren't obvious for the choice. And I asked my wife to make a team. So she made a team of 5 characters. And she blew my reasoning out of the water. She did it. Her list is so funny and great. And she might have the best list out of both of us. So we're both probably going to lose here. But I'm going to go ahead.
Imagining they're all rom-com characters. They're just different Matthew McConaughey's.
Okay. So I guess I didn't write down all the actors' names, but I have all their characters' names here. So we got Jim from The Office being the leader. And her reasoning behind that was because he plays pranks on Dwight, and he goes really in depth on those pranks, and his ability to maintain a straight face and be completely serious in this hilarious situation was appealing to her as her leader and mastermind of her team.
Those pranks are genius level planning. I can't argue.
For real. And again, very unassuming. No one's going to expect him of going to rob a bank because he's never done it before. So he's got no heat involved. And then as her spy, we have Carmen from Spy Kids. What a great pick. She is a kid in the first 3 Spy Kids movies, but they do have Spy Kids 4 where she's an adult. So I'm assuming Brooke could pick her at any of those ages, depending on what the heist is.
I'd pick her as a kid. Nobody would see it coming.
Yeah, that's probably what she was going for. I thought it was a hilarious pick. So much so that I wanted to incorporate her into my list, but I wanted her to have her own. So then the technology specialist and the teammate that keeps the morale high is Bob from Stranger Things Season 2.
She's picking her tech specialist is from the early 80s.
So she liked his go get 'em spirit, and her reasoning was that if he was really good in the 70s, he could figure it out now if he had the opportunity to, because someone that passionate about technology back then wouldn't just stop learning about it as it comes out now. So he would be ready to rock and roll for her team. For her badass, smart, and sexy role. She has Gracie Hart, Miss Congeniality. She's been undercover before. She's beautiful. She's worked in law enforcement, so she kind of knows her way around different situations and the law. So I think that was a good pick for her to kind of bring some maturity and experience to her list, because that's kind of what she's missing at this point. For her driver, she wants Han from Fast and Furious. And yeah, he's just a precision driver and adds a good dynamic. She says she likes how he's always eating because he used to smoke or something. So that character stuck out to her to be her driver. So again, her list is Jim from The Office, Carmen from Spy Kids, Bob from Stranger Things, Gracie from Miss Congeniality, and Han from Fast and Furious. That is her list. I think she might have won.
The first three took me out.
Weren't they hilarious?
Those are good picks.
They're so good. Andrew, do you have anything to add to our heist episode?
If anyone wants to comment, I'd like to know what your favorite team of the three teams mentioned was.
Yeah.
We've got three teams. What characters did we miss? Let us know what characters should have been in our heist list.
What would make up your 5 characters to complete a heist? What's your reasoning for these characters, and what's your criteria? What are the different types of people that you would want on your team? I had a lot of fun doing this episode. This is actually our 20th episode. We were supposed to say that in the beginning, but we're only at 20 episodes and we haven't gotten that down yet.
We've only crossed the 20 episode line now that we've finished the episode.
Yeah, so now that we have more experience, we can shout out these monumental episodes in the beginning of the episode. But if you've listened this far, thanks so much. We had a lot of fun with this one. Hopefully you guys did too. We post episodes every Monday and Thursday. Every once in a while, depending on what's going on, we throw out an extra bonus episode or 2. We're on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, all the podcast apps. So make sure you check us out on all of those platforms.
Yeah, like, follow, listen, subscribe, check out the previous 19 episodes, and comment and engage with us. It's been tons of fun getting to know some of our listeners and interacting on our social media pages. We love how passionate everyone is about the different topics that we discuss.
Yeah, we like the good and the bad comments. You know, if you think Andrew was bullied in school, tell us. Let us know, all right? We love your interactions. It helps us. It helps us with the algorithm. So go ahead and leave us a comment down below. And we'll see you on the next one.
And that's a wrap.